What is going on, you party people and you Oscar watching fools? Welcome back to the Nerdwide podcast. This is episode 148. We are 2 episodes away from being to 150, which is nuts to think about. Again, 100 was crazy to think about, and we're already halfway there again. I'm your host, Tyler Haynes, with my good friend in movie... How do I want to say this? Movie... Maniac, maybe. Movie cinemaphile. That sounds right. Yeah, Chris Rivers. He said, okay. Chris, how's your week been?
Kind of crazy. We're back to full hours at work.
Oh, that's always a positive.
It's weird since we had a few weeks of not being full hours to be back to full hours. It's like, yeah. But yeah, it's been going pretty good, I guess. Looking forward to tonight.
I'm excited, and they pushed it up an hour.
Yeah.
So we had to, as you can see, we were recording this during the daytime, which I guess because of daylight savings, it's going to be daytime now, anyways. So I don't know. Listen, this is the dumbest thing. I don't know why America does this anymore.
Yeah.
We're the weirdest country, I swear, in the world. But because the Oscars is at 6 p.m., which is when we usually start recording, we bumped this up a couple of hours so we could get our episodes, our picks in, and go from there. So you guys still have an episode before the Oscars happens. Some things will be changing as the weeks go on because, we get back to our regular pick a movie kind of thing, and we go back to our MCU rewatch since we are, watching Agent Carter right now. I don't think we don't have a lot of movies left in the MCU, but we're getting back to normal time MCU watches, which is fun. So, quick housekeeping before we jump into all of the stuff. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube or podcasting service of your choice. I know the podcasting service has been a little bit lacking. That's on me. Not a lot of time to edit and upload things, so give it a minute. I'll be doing that whenever I can breathe. It's not going to be this week because this is work has been hectic, and I'm just trying to find the time to do anything in life anymore. If you enjoy the show, make sure you give us a thumbs up on YouTube or give us a great podcasting rating, whatever on podcasting service you do use. If you don't enjoy what you see or hear, let us know down in the comments below how we can fix the show. We don't know if it's broken. We can't fix it if we don't know it's broken. If you want to do more, you can always go to patreon.com/nerdwide. 3 different tiers for 3 different annual monthly subscription service. We do early episodes there for the lowest tier. As you go up in price, you get more goodies, things like that. If you want to recommend us a movie, a TV show, any of that kind of stuff, talk about, read about, that is the place to do it. But Chris, have you watched anything recently, TV-wise? Anything crazy, fun, exciting? I know our shows are coming back online now.
Yeah, nothing insane between watching the usual and YouTube and staying up to speed on that.
My week's been crazy when I haven't been able to stay updated on my podcast. I'm a good 3 or 4 days behind because I do a daily podcast, and it's driving me bonkers. And this is one of those weeks. My cousins are their soccer schedule started back, and so I got to do a whole bunch of that kind of stuff. And it's hard to breathe sometimes, I feel like, because there's just so much to do. But we're gonna have some fun with it. TV-wise, I think I've watched a Smallville episode in there, and then other than that, that's about it. I haven't really had time to do much, like I said. But what I did have time for, Agent Carter, Season 2's.
Yep.
Episodes 3 and 4. We're going to start with 3, and we are going to ThisKingdom.com, written by Paul Washington. Following the last 2 episodes premiere, we join Peggy and Sousa in the aftermath of the explosion at Isodyne as they arrive at Dr. Wilkes' home to be greeted by a large group of press. After entering the house, Peggy discovers a loose floorboard which hides a Russian passport and a one-way ticket to Moscow, while another agent discovers a weapon that matches the one that killed SSR men in the previous episode, claiming that Wilkes was a spy. Come on. I mean, this was easy, okay, this is a setup. Because he was the goofiest scientist that could happen. Obviously not a spy. I mean, it's clear as day to us. Peggy and Jarvis pay a visit to returning character Howard Stark, of course played by the wonderful Dominic Cooper, on the set of his new film, Kid Colt, based on a comic book, which leads to Stark saying he was told a film based on a comic books will never work. They show Howard the video of the dark matter explosion as well, as the pin that Peggy found in the car could also be the one that Dottie was after. Stark recognizes the pin as being from the Arena Club, a white male-only club. We move on to seeing Whitney Frost examining the mark of the dark matter left on her forehead just as Chadwick enters the room. He questions why she isn't working. She claims she is sick, but then informs him that she is considering retiring, which he rebuffs, telling her she needs to wait until after he becomes a senator. Sousa and Peggy arrive back in the office to find Thompson waiting for them, saying he has amended their field report to confirm that Wilkes was a communist spy. Peggy refuses to sign the document, so Thompson forges it. As Peggy leaves, she doesn't notice that a pen and keys float in the air as she walks past it. Peggy and Jarvis return home to find Howard is throwing a party with a group of ladies he claims to be production assistants. Peggy convinces Stark to infiltrate the Arena Club. Thompson, while watching the video of the explosions, is disturbed by Vernon Masters, who has come to make sure that the report won't be controversial, while also trying to get some of the evidence handed over, which Thompson claims not to know about, but if he finds it, he will get it to him. Suspicious character.
I do like Howard's definition of production assistant.
Yes, that's very. It's crazy because his son is him. They are the same character, which is very funny.
He's like, having them around makes me more productive.
Right. I mean, I played the fifth on that one as well. Howard and Jarvis pay the Arena Club a visit. Stark claiming the club isn't very good and invites all his ladies' friends, including Peggy, in for a party. Peggy slips off to investigate the club. Peggy plants bugs to try and get evidence and stumbles upon the council exiting their secret chamber. Peggy enters quickly before the door closes. As she tries to plant a bug under the table, and it short circuits. We find that the butler has called Code Pink, meaning security are on their way to clear out the club. Peggy makes a quick escape from the room after noticing two newspapers on the table, both for the same date, but with different headlines. Both that would leave Chadwick as the only runner for Senate. You mean politics are shady and already, no. Never.
Predetermined?
No. Peggy reports this back to Sousa and Thompson wants to ignore it as there's no evidence and orders her to return to New York after she calls him a coward, as she should. Sousa tries to stop her leaving, saying she is taking Wilkes' death badly, when they both notice things floating around Peggy. And both of them realize it's a side effect of the dark matter and pay a visit to Howard to try and fix this. He realizes that her temperature has dropped, similar to Jane in the opening episode. Howard has a remedy for this, saying it's the wavelengths that are causing it and has a way to make them visible by using a product he was developing for filmmaking. He sprays some around Peggy and Dr. Wilkes slowly becomes visible. Wilkes tells him...
kind of creepy.
Yes, it was. It's like definitely a ghost that was stalking her. Let's just call it what it is.
He's right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like he keeps staying right next to her, and it's like...
Interesting, interesting.
Back up a little bit. Yeah. Back up just a little bit.
Wilkes tells him that Whitney Frost was there when the explosion happened, with Peggy telling him that she is still alive when Wilkes fades away again. Stark says he will fix it while Peggy pays Frost a visit. That night, Thompson hands over the reel of the explosion to Masters. Carter returns to Stark after not getting anything from Whitney to find Wilkes corporeal again and working with Howard to find a solution. Thompson, on his way out of the office and back to New York, finds Sousa working late and invites him out for a drink. After Sousa tells him he is over Peggy and is engaged, but Sousa declines. Frost informs Chadwick about Peggy's visits and acts like she was scared after being threatened and that she wants Peggy taken care of. Chadwick is reluctant at first, but eventually sends his man, Mr. Hunt, in to kill Peggy. Can we not come up with better names for these people?
Well, I mean, the person tracking her down to kill her is named Mr. Hunt, so it's kind of appropriate.
So, in the morning, Stark informs Peggy that he is heading to Peru to get help from his mentor, Abner Brody, to help fix Dr. Wilkes, which would never be. Sousa, while working late, has discovered that Frost is actually an inventor called Agnes Coley who helped with iodine being set up. And let me go back here. Wouldn't it have been kind of cool to put, Dr. Hank Pym in this little... Yeah. I mean, I feel like the particles, I feel like that kind of would have went along.
I mean, they could have... There's a few people they could have put in there.
Right. And just...
That would have
We just get some random guy, Abner Brody, we never hear from again. Or at least in the MCU at large, let me put it that way. Let's see. Masters introduces Thompson to Calvin Chadwick, who will be his best friend now that he is a senator, while showing Thompson the headline on the newspaper that Peggy saw. The director of Frost's current film informs her that the studio wanted her replaced, but he talked them out of it. As he leaves, he makes a pass at Whitney Frost, who turns in to attack him with powers from the dark matter consuming him, giving us our first look at Madame Mask. Actually, I'm not familiar with that character, so spoilers. Other things of note, we get a couple of moments that will mean not a lot to fans of the MCU. First, Jarvis, after installing a new security system after Peggy's attacked with his own voice, claims that he doesn't want to be a disembodied voice for the rest of his life, which is a nod to Jarvis, Tony Stark's computerized butler. We also see Howard's early designs for the arc reactor that his son Tony would go on to use to keep himself alive. Pretty cool. I love those little nods into that. Mm-hmm. So I'm just double checking. Okay, so episode 4. We open with a flashback Peggy in her childhood, where we find her cutting off a make-believe dragon's head, a nod to her future taking on Hydra, maybe. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Where her mother tells her to stop being a tomboy. Back at present day, Peggy, while eating a sandwich, drips sauce through Dr. Wilkes' corporal body, causing more sexual tension between the two. I caught on to that, all right? I think everybody caught on to that. That's just palpable. Wilkes explains the research he has done looking into Whitney Frost. Meanwhile, Miss Frost receives a delivery from Izodon Energy, which is a cage of rats. Peggy and Jarvis head to Chadwick's campaign headquarters. They notice that Chadwick's driver has found a wound very similar to the one Peggy gave her to the attack at the Stark household. We learn his name is Rufus Hunt, a soldier who was discharged for black market racketeering. We then flash back to 1920s Oklahoma, where we meet a young Agnes Coley and her mother. We learn that Agnes, even at this age, was a genius fixing the broken radio. Her mother warns her that Uncle Bud is coming and to be nice to him. When he arrives, we learn that he is Agnes's mother's lover. He teases Agnes, causing her to be mean to him. Back at present day, we find Whitney and Agnes about to begin an experiment on one of the rats, but she is disturbed by Chadwick, who wants to know what she is wearing for a later photo shoot. He leaves and she consumes the rat with the dark matter. Listen, the whole dark matter stuff is awesome. I'm loving it. Yeah. Jarvis arrives at Hunt's apartment pretending to be the police. Hunt escapes from the back but is caught by Peggy, who tranquilizes him but doesn't knock him out. He fights with Peggy again, who manages to grab the tranquilizer and knocks him back out. As Peggy and Jarvis load him into the trunk of the car, he wakes up and jabs Jarvis with the tranquilizer. They return home to find Sousa waiting, who has discovered that Peggy has been doing, also finding Hunt locked in the boot of the car. They argue about what has happened when Peggy claims she didn't want him involved as she was considering killing Hunt. They both interrogate him, but he isn't scared, so Peggy threatens him with something in a syringe. We go to another flashback in England, where Peggy is engaged and is discussing with the girls in her office, where they are interrupted by their boss, who wants to speak to Peggy. She has been recruited by the SOE, and Peggy wanting to know whether they need a codebreaker. They don't want her in the field. Back to present day SSR, Peggy threatens Hunt with a syringe as she claims it has a very virulent form of malaria, which she injects into Hunt's neck. She leaves the room and informs Sousa that's only a very strong cold that Stark created accidentally. Every time. Another flashback to Oklahoma. Bud is leaving Agnes's mother for another woman. After he leaves her, mother blames her for him leaving and that she will never get into the science program as she is a female and to concentrate on the only thing that'll get her anywhere. Her face. It's a horrible thing to tell your daughter, by the way. Come on. Chadwick phones Whitney. Go ahead.
Very, very poor parenting.
Mm-hmm. And it's very evident from all these flashbacks we see of her. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Chadwick phones Whitney as she is late. She informs him she is sick, but he worries they will cancel the shoot if she doesn't show. And we start noticing the crack of her forehead is starting to grow a little bit larger. Hunt finally caves in and gives other two names, newspaper editor Thomas Gloucester as well as Hugh Jones. He asks for the SSR protection and claims that they are involved in everything, including Black Friday. He tells them about the Council of Nine, who we met at the Arena Club, that they record their meetings. Jarvis helps Wilkes with his work, but they find that it is a dead end. Wilkes starts to see a crack appear in the chalkboard they had been using, but Jarvis brings him back to his senses. Which I'm very curious about that. But what does this mean? And I'm going to be honest, I want to go back and watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when this is over. And I just might. So, okay, judge me.
I mean,
You know, Sousa and Peggy have a warrant.
you.
It's a very, like, this era of television with the MCU was they very much play off of each other, and they're filmed the same way, and they just remind me a lot of each other, remind me of better times, if you will. Peggy tries to get across what is happening at the Arena Club, but Masters is not interested. Oh, sorry, I missed a sentence here. Susan and Peggy have a warrant to search the Arena Club, but are stopped by the arrival of Vernon Masters, who has decided to audit all the cases with the LA branch of the SSR and stops all investigations. Peggy tries to get across what's happening at this club, but Masters is not interested. He wants more information about who is helping them with the investigation, and warning Carter, which she refuses, that she is technically a foreign spy. He also warns her of a coming tidal wave that could take out her friends, even if she gets through it. I'm going to say Masters is a part of Hydra. Like an ancient part. That's just where my mind's at here, Chris. All right. I'm thinking here. We flash back to Peggy's engagement party where we meet both Peggy's fiance, Fred, and her brother, Michael. They bring up Peggy being offered the field role, and she says she turned, doesn't say down or anything, but after Fred leaves, Michael tells her he recommended her for the role, claiming that married life was for her. Back to the present day, Sousa says for not thinking that the judge was under the council's thumb. Peggy wants him to stay out of it, but Sousa gets the same response from Masters and is sticking with Peggy that he has some tissue samples from Jane Scott. Sousa releases Hunt and marches him out. He escapes just as Peggy and Sousa planned. He returns to Chadwick but finds Frost as Peggy and Sousa listen in. Another flashback to Peggy trying on her wedding gown with her mother when they are disturbed by someone at the door. Her mother leaves and Peggy looks out the window to see two soldiers breaking the news that her brother had been killed in action. We flash forward a little bit to see Peggy taking the SOE job and leaving her engagement ring behind. Which I never knew that she was engaged before all of the Captain America stuff. Present day, Peggy finds Wilkes staring at the chalkboard again. He feels that something is pulling at him, and he could just let go. But Peggy explains that like her and her brother, he was meant to fight. Finally, Chadwick arrives home, Hunt explaining to him about his kidnap. Frost sees through Hunt and wants to know what he told Carter and Sousa and that he will have to face the council, with Hunt threatening to tell the council about what Frost and Chadwick are actually up to. Without thinking, Frost grabs Hunt by the throat and unleashes the dark matter on him. Flashback to a 20-something Agnes who is visiting movie theater for the second time to see the same film to escape the real world. The vendor gives her a free ticket. Here, she runs into a talent agent, Ned Silver, who thinks he could get her modeling or acting work, but she'll have to change her name. In the present day, Frost shows Chadwick the crack that is now growing down the entire side of her face.
Yeah. She got crack on her face.
She got some black crack on her face. Can't be any worse than white crack. But, I've never done either, so.
Yeah. Well.
I'm getting sad. I think last season I was a little bit more involved because it dealt with the whole Stark being a spy kind of thing and who is he selling to. This one, I'm still very interested in it, just not as much so as I was for the first season. But I really do like what we're setting up, because I really do feel like we're setting up modern day Hydra at this point. Present day Hydra. Whatever it was, past Hydra. Anyways, still a lot of show to go and not a lot of answers so far right now. But, we've only got a couple more weeks and I'll have them. And then I'm probably one of the other groups that are probably ticked off because we didn't get any more Agent Carter. And we easily should have. So I'm expecting that.
Definitely should have.
So, but we've got one news thing to talk about. And this is something to deal with our show, because I feel like we will be watching this, potentially. Halloween TV series by Miramax to be a creative reset. I'm going to Deadline.com by Nelly Andreeva, which she has this whole story of a bunch of different things. The Gentleman's, it was with Miramax TV boss, so she got an update on a bunch of things. But the one we're worried about is the Halloween TV series. Miramax Television in October signed a deal with Trancas to develop and reproduce a Halloween TV series, which is envisioned to potentially launch a cinematic universe spanning film and television. I'm okay with. Quote, "We're on a fast track. It's a big priority for us. We've had a lot of exciting conversations in recent months with a number of really talented people, and I think we'll have a pretty good idea of what we're going to be doing very soon," Helwig said, adding, "We're hoping to lock down the creative team very soon as well. While the search for a writer is still ongoing, the idea for the TV series is already being identified. It's a big world, Hellwig said of the 13-movie franchise, the most recent trilogy culminating with Halloween Ends, providing a fitting conclusion to that story. So I don't think that is an opportunity to go off back of that. So the series is going to be the Halloween franchise's origins. Quote, the foundation of the original film, the John Carpenter movie, the characters of that film, and perhaps a group of characters that we haven't really focused on that much in recent film versions or even in a number of them, Hellwig said. It's a creative reset completely, and going back to the original film as opposed to spinning out of any of the more recent film adaptations. I mean, I'm okay with it, I guess. Especially if you're planning to make a whole universe out of it. Yeah, bring it on.
Yeah, but I don't know. He said that they gave a fitting end to the version of Halloween that ended with Halloween Ends.
Right.
So now you're saying that you're going to go back to the first movie and, yeah, we're going to focus on some different characters, but it's going to basically be the same plot. Right? Like, we're going to have Michael Myers. It's going to be that whole... I kind of wish they would take it in the direction that Carpenter originally wanted to go. And that they would launch it from Halloween 3 with the Shamrock Halloween masks. Something that doesn't involve Michael Myers.
Right.
And tell a different Halloween story every year that's something...
Yeah, and I'm curious to see what this movie and TV universe they're wanting to create is, because I'm right there with you. I would like each Halloween season, we focus on something entirely like almost Avengers-esque, like with I guess Michael Myers or whatever they plan to do being your Iron Man. And then we go next Halloween, we go to a different part of the country, and it's a different mask and a different character, all that kind of stuff. I feel like that'd be a lot of fun. And then, bring them into a movie 6-7 years from now when you've got a good cast of characters and, I don't know, make one detective go up against all of them. I don't know, something like that. But that's why I'm not a writer for horror movies. But I just feel like it's interesting they're wanting to do a creative reset. But I'm right there with you. You say how it comes to an end. Well, why are we going back to the beginning then and resetting it? So, but I guess that's why they're CEO of something, and I'm here, talking about talking about it. So, but we got some good news. Releases this week, Thursday, March 14th. Invincible Season 2 Part 2 starts on Prime Video, which we will be covering in the next weeks, which I think we've only got 4 episodes left. So. Whatever. Stephen Yeun he had an interview with somebody this week, and I wish I would have saved it. I'm sitting thinking about it, but he was like, "We've heard the fans. We understand." He goes, "We've bagged in a lot of episodes." He goes, "I've personally done a lot of episodes for VO." He says, "They have heard you guys. We've heard you guys. We're sorry, and we're moving forward." So I'm like, okay. I mean, acknowledgement is the first thing. So.
They've heard us, but we're doing another 4 or 5 episode chunk, and then we're taking another break.
Yeah, so I mean but it sounds like he's recorded a lot of seasons though, or a lot of episodes already. So essentially, it's just down to the animators at this point to work on it and spit them out. But they never again. Well, I don't think they'll ever take a break again, and nor should they. Period.
No.
So. No. But that's all for TVs. I'm ready for the movies. I'm ready for the main event, Chris.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know who's doing that, but so I watched American Fiction. You didn't get a chance to watch it.
What'd you think of it?
I gave it 4 stars.
Ooh, okay. I gotta put that on my notes.
It's very good. I'm going to run through the plot real quick, just so everybody knows what it is. You'll have a little bit better ideas, so you can factor it in on some Oscar pick categories, possibly. And Jamie won't hear this, so
she's no cheating for her. And she's already made her picks. So,
Thelonious Monk Ellison is a highly intelligent African-American upper-class writer and professor in Los Angeles. His novels receive academic praise but sell poorly, and publishers reject his latest manuscript for not being black enough. His university places him on temporary leave due to his brashness with students over racial issues and suggests he attend a literary seminar and spend time with the family in his hometown of Boston. Yeah, the brashness with students, the scene that we get, he's put the name of a novel up on the board in the classroom, and it includes the N word.
Mm.
And there's a white girl in there. She's the only one in the class to say anything about it and say, that makes me uncomfortable. And he
didn't like that, did
he
he?
he ends up unloading on her. Apparently, we don't really get to hear it. We get a look on his face, and then she leaves the classroom crying.
Okay.
So it's just, yeah. At the seminar, his panel is poorly attended, yet there's a packed room for an interview with Sintara Golden, whose best-selling novel, We's Lives in the Ghetto, panders to black stereotypes. In Boston, Monk bonds with his mother Agnes, who shows signs of Alzheimer's disease, and sister Lisa, a physician. While having drinks with Monk, Lisa suffers a heart attack and later dies in the hospital. Monk's estranged brother Cliff, a plastic surgeon, who, by the way, is played by Sterling K. Brown,
The best.
attends Lisa's funeral. Cliff is divorced after his wife caught him having sex with a man. He now engages in frequent drug use and casual sex. Monk meets and starts dating Coraline, a lawyer living across the street. Frustrated by Sintara's success and the cost of care for his mother, Monk writes My Pathology, a satirical novel mocking the literary cliches expected from black writers. Melodramatic plots, deadbeat dads, gang violence, drugs. After submitting it to publishers out of contempt, he's shocked to be offered a $750,000 advance, and his agent Arthur convinces him to adopt a persona of convict on the run, Stag R. Lee. As Stag, Monk is offered a movie deal from a producer, Wiley. In response to publishing executives' insulting comments, Monk tries to sabotage the deal by demanding the title be changed to Fuck. Unexpectedly, the executives agree. Monk is invited to help judge the New England Book Association's literary award as part of a diversity push, and he reluctantly accepts. A fellow judge is Sintara, and Monk is surprised to learn she shares many of his views. Agnes moves into an expensive assisted living facility but adapts poorly. Cliff briefly returns to Boston but leaves after Agnes makes a homophobic remark. Fuck becomes a bestseller.
As it should.
Coraline, Cliff, and the public remain unaware that Stag is Monk, and the FBI contacts the publisher believing Stag really is a fugitive as he claimed in interviews. Monk's publisher submits Fuck for the literary award, forcing him to judge his own novel. Monk is even more offended when he finds Coraline enjoys reading it. They argue and break up. The panel's white limousine liberal judges rave over the book, though I knew I would do that because Sintara looks just like Sinatra with two letters. Though Sintara calls it pandering. Monk agrees, but later argues Sintara's book is trauma porn and inauthentic to her African American middle class background. Sintara argues that she extensively researched her book by interviewing voiceless people, was giving the market what it wants, and that it's not her fault if white readers form stereotypes from her book. On family housekeeper Lorraine's wedding day, Monk finds Cliff living in Agnes's beach house with two other men. Cliff never left Boston and has been partying and doing drugs, but Lorraine is happy to have him attend the wedding. At the reception, Monk and Cliff discuss the impact of their father's suicide, and Cliff encourages Monk to let people love all of him. At the awards ceremony, Buck is announced as the winner. Monk goes on stage and says he has a confession to make. The screen cuts to black, and the story is revealed to be Monk's screenplay based on his experiences, written for Wiley's production company as an alternative to the Fuck film adaptation. Monk has not revealed his identity to the public and is still separated from Coraline. Wiley likes the screenplay but asks Monk to write a different ending. Monk proposes one with his running away from the ceremony to apologize to his ex-girlfriend. Wiley doesn't like this as it's closer to romantic comedy. Monk then suggests one where police, believing Monk to be a wanted criminal holding a gun, fatally shoot him at the ceremony. Much to Monk's dismay, Wiley, also busy filming blaxploitation film Plantation Annihilation, loves it, and the film moves into production. Monk drives away with Cliff after he and one of Wiley's actors, playing a slave, acknowledge each other. That's the end of the movie.
Hmm.
So it's really good, and you don't really expect as much to happen from a negative standpoint. Like his sister dying that quick into the film, you don't really think that's gonna play out, and it does. Yeah, a lot of good stuff. Jeffrey Wright's amazing in this, and it sucks that it's up for an Oscar in the year that it is, because I think this would have a chance any other year. But with some of the stuff that's up, like Oppenheimer and what's been one of the Killers of the Flower Moon, and
yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah, so they're probably not going to win a lot, if anything, but it deserves to.
Where does this rank with, as far as all the Best Picture nominations this year? How are you higher up on the list with it, lower down, like right down the middle, or?
I'd say it's probably top 5 for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I hate that I couldn't watch it. It's one of those that I've been wanting to watch ever since I've seen trailers for it too.
Yeah.
Eventually it'll come to streaming somewhere, and I'll try and pick it up then. But I hate that.
Or I'll end up buying it and putting the digital code on the account.
Well, we'll see what happens. Oh man, Chris, are we watching anything next week for the movies?
No, we're gonna do an Oscar breakdown. Talking about who won and kind of looking at our picks, for the award ceremony.
I swear Jamie wins. I'm not telling her. Like as if she couldn't watch it herself. Oh man.
But yeah. So if you want, we can run through our picks right now.
Let's do it. I haven't made any yet. Have you made any yet for your?
I've finished mine.
Okay. All right. Let's do.
So if you want to start at the bottom.
Yeah. We'll
work our way up to Best Picture.
Yeah, we could skip through some of them. We could pick them, but we could skip through for show's sake. Best visual effects. Godzilla -1, Guardians of the Galaxy, Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, Napoleon, and The Creator. Only seeing one of these movies, Guardians of the Galaxy. I think that's going to be my pick. I know Napoleon was really good. It's on Prime or something. I know I want to watch it.
It's on Apple.
Apple. I'm picking Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 3.
That's what I went with.
Yeah. It's a pretty solid choice there.
It's like the superhero category.
Yeah. What superhero movie is going to win this one this year? All right. What you got?
Which ones do you want to skip?
We can skip editing. Let's do costume design.
Costume design. Now my pick was Napoleon here.
Ooh, okay.
Because I think the Academy tends to like these period pieces where you get the real fancy costumes.
Yeah.
That's definitely Napoleon.
I picked Killers of the Flower Moon for the exact same kind of reason you said. It's those period pieces, and I feel like with Leonardo there, it's going to help my pick there.
It was that or Napoleon for me.
Let's do best cinematography here. I am going to pick, which I know all my answers for next year, and it's what's hurting my head here. So best cinematography, I'm going Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a personal pick, I guess, on that one.
Yeah, that was my pick as well.
Okay. I'm gonna do score.
We can do score. Best original score. I went Oppenheimer.
It's really bad that Maestro's not on here, I guess.
Well, they're not
It's not
original.
no. So I'm sitting there thinking about. Um, yeah, I'm gonna go Oppenheimer as well. Was there a lot of music in American Fiction? Like noticeable?
Yeah. I mean, it gets your attention at times. Sure.
Ooh, no. I'm gonna skip that one. And it sucks because we'll be making these blind picks on some of these other ones, like best animated. Where'd it go? Short film, like nobody's ever seen. Live
I, so,
action short
so
film.
I know it's weird, but like you said, we haven't seen them. So I've seen enough Oscar ceremonies. What I try to do is I try to imagine like what's going on in the world
Oh.
and how is it going to sound being announced.
Mm. Jamie picked Invincible for this one. Oh
What
Lord.
best animated short?
Yeah.
I went War is Over
War
because
is
of
over.
everything going on in Ukraine and everything. I could see that gives the
Uh,
filmmaker a chance to make a statement. I don't know what war they're talking about,
yeah. It's a war
but
though. I'm gonna do best animated feature, and I, of course, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I mean, come on.
yeah, yeah, that's what I went
All
with.
those other ones are good, but the
It's
amount of
probably
different animations and style types they use, I mean,
probably if that doesn't win, Elemental's gonna.
yeah. Elemental is also does the same thing. I think it's
Yeah,
very cool how they've done that. That's one of Stella's favorite movies right now. Um, I'm gonna do best supporting actress.
yeah. I went with Divine.
Yep. That's who I'm picking, and I fully expect her to win. Based off of the SAG-AFTRA Awards, that's kind of like a precursor of, and kind of the Golden Globes. This is how, like, Golden Globes is TV, but no, Emmys is TV. Golden Globes is everything.
Yeah, and
Um,
I think we're both gonna have the same best supporting actor too.
RDJ,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, God bless, he killed it.
he was amazing in that. Not that the others weren't, but
Right.
you know,
All right. Best actress.
I went Lily Gladstone on this.
Oh, which one was she in?
Killers of the Flower
Kills
Moon.
of the Flower Moon. Oh, I'm going off the pictures that they put up on here.
Uh huh.
Oh, she was the wife. Um, Emma Stone. I don't remember watching that her in anything.
No, we didn't see hers. It was Poor Things.
Oh, that she
That's the
was the
one.
poor things. Carrie Mulligan was Maestro.
Maestro.
Sandra Huller.
She was Anatomy of a Fall.
Yep. Oh yeah, she was the main actress. Like, it's just weird. Look at these pictures. I'm going Lily Gladstone on this one.
It would help if they put the project that they worked on out
Wouldn't
next
that
to
be
it.
kind of great? This is a new app because they didn't have this last year when we did Bachelor and Big Brother and stuff like that. So this is new. I'm glad that they're doing it for the Oscars because, we like being competitive. Best actor, without a doubt. I mean, it's Cillian Murphy. It's oh, you
See,
picked somebody different.
I picked somebody different because I think he's the one that everyone's expecting, and there seems to be a surprise every year
Mm.
at the Oscars. The Oscars tend to go a different direction sometimes. So I went Bradley Cooper
Ooh.
because Leonard Bernstein was he composed for Broadway, but he also composed for Hollywood, and I think it'll
Mm.
be a chance for them to honor
Tip their hat a little bit to him.
him. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, I could see that anyway.
Hmm. I see how we're playing, Chris. Okay. Best director.
This was tough, but I could see them going with, and I don't have all the names listed. It just shows me who I picked.
Mm.
Um, what's the name of Barbie's director?
She's not on here. That was the big thing. Greta Gerwig.
Oh, that's right. She didn't get
Mm.
nominated. Yeah,
There's Christopher Nolan, Oppenheimer, Jonathan Glazer. I don't remember. Justine Treat. I don't remember.
I think she's Anatomy of a Fall.
Martin Scorsese for
Or fourth. Killers of the Flower Moon.
Jesus, I don't know why I can't remember that name. And then Yorgos Lanthimos. I'm assuming, is he American Fiction?
No.
What was he on? Let's see, Yorgos.
So I went.
Poor Things.
I went Scorsese here.
Okay, I'm going Christopher Nolan.
I think Scorsese. He's getting older. He's in his 80s now. Don't know how many more times he's going to get up for this award, and I could see them giving it to him based on that. It was a great movie, and it had a lot of. I think they may start looking at Nolan as the next Scorsese and figure he's going to be here
forever,
a lot more, and we'll get it to him for something else.
Chris, it's time.
Best Picture.
Best Picture. I'm going to run through your list one last time here. American Fiction, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, Poor Things, The Holdovers, The Zone of Interest. Great list. My draft pick. I am picking one film, a historical film, if you will. One with several Avengers in it, and people from the MCU. With my pick, Tyler Haines, Oscar nominee, picks Oppenheimer. Jesus, this bit's dead. All right, forget it.
It's because you have the blur effect on your background.
It's dumb, okay? I did that just to try to get this sunlight out of here, but I pick Oppenheimer.
Yeah, I went Oppenheimer too. I just don't see it losing.
Yeah, it's one of those once in a lifetime kind of films. I feel like it's just one of those great pictures, and it's already sweeping everything else. As much as I want The Holdovers to win, which have you heard that it's being looked in for plagiarism? Like almost,
Holdovers?
Yeah, like almost like a word to word from another project overseas. And I'm like, oh.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just talk or what, but it's being looked into for plagiarism. But so I've got a lot of other categories I need to go through and just pick something on because I don't want to lose out on those points. Like best original screenplay. Past Lives is good. Might go with Anatomy of a Fall. Oh, it's The Holdovers. Get out of my head. Shoo. Like, that wasn't even an option. So, I just got some other ones to do. But I'm excited, man. We've got, T minus 2 hours and some odd minutes?
Yeah.
Which I'm so glad they picked it up so I don't have to go to bed as late.
Right.
I don't really expect a lot of news coming out of it, but I am curious to see it. We should get the red carpet going here in a little bit, too. But, what a year. The Oscars. And, Chris, I cannot wait for you to watch the Dune series because, you're going to have to next year. I hate it for you, but you're going to have to watch the Lisan Al Gaib.
If it gets nominated.
Okay. Dune 1, it's winning everything. Like, the actors in it were phenomenal. The cinematography for sure is going to be one. Oh, God. What a movie. I want to watch it again.
Yeah.
I should have went myself this weekend, but I was relaxing a little bit. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Our Oscars 2023/2024 talk will end next week when we break down the actual Oscars. Really enjoy doing this every year. This is our second annual one, and I'm really excited to see what's in it next year because I feel like we don't have a lot of strong movies coming out. They're going to be mainstream for the Oscars. So I'm curious to see if we have a movie like last year where, personally, I didn't know a whole lot of the movies. But this year I've seen a lot of movies advertise and know about them at least. So
I think we probably got two contenders already. You're talking about Dune 2.
mm-hmm.
Um, Iron Claw came out on
Oh,
Christmas
yep.
Day, so it was after the cutoff for this year's Oscars. So it'll be eligible for next year. I could see it possibly staying in the hunt.
I forgot about Iron Claw. I do want to watch that one too.
So that's 2 of the 10 spots. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're out early enough that we'll be able to watch them.
Finally. And I've already pre-ordered my Dune Steelbook, so of course, so I'll be able to watch that as many times as I want to. Aquaman will be up for award. We'll see. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for listening and watching. We really hope you enjoyed this episode. Let us know what you've got for Best Picture winning. If you've stuck around this journey with us, thank you. We really enjoy it. Hope you have as well, especially with our talks and breakdowns of everything. But let us know what you got for Best Picture down in the comments below. We're on every social media platform: Threads, Facebook, Insta, Twitter. I think that's all of them. So if you want to subscribe to us there, those are the places to do it. But again, don't forget to share this out. Can't bring in more eyes and everything if the word doesn't get spread out there. And we'll be doing some book reviews coming up soon, so just stick around for those. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We hope you enjoy your Oscars tonight, and we will see you next week for the live breakdown.
Later, guys.